Good morning. On day 134, we are aiming for about 21.7 miles today, which is our biggest day in like over a month, which is really huge. And so we're hoping to be able to make it to a campsite, I think. And we have a lot of time to do it. And so if we can keep up a good pace, we'll be able to make it.
We're the Six Pack Hikers! Nice job. We are about a fifth of the way up our 3-mile climb and got a little window view with a breeze. Feels really, really good. Good morning. Doing this video standing still because we are climbing up a very, very steep mountain. First thing this morning, it's 3 miles long. Whew. We are aiming for a big day today. Really since before the whites, since coming into New Hampshire, our mileage has gone down because the terrain has been so difficult. But we've got goals in mind and are trying to finish within a certain time frame with our friends. And so we are attempting this big day. We got up at 4:30, got on trail at 5:30. We're hoping it won't take us more than 14 hours to do the 21.7 miles. We do have a bailout point at 17 if we need it. So we will see how this goes. Fingers crossed. Made it to the top of Old Blue. We're having breakfast / snacks. Leaning against the bushes. Caught up to Straps, but he kept going. We'll catch him in a little bit. We are 4 miles, or actually a little more than 4 miles into our day. On our way to a brook to fill up our water bottles. Had kind of that challenging climb in the beginning, and it's been smoother since on the way down, though the climbing will begin again. We just met a couple of southbound hikers, Ben and Abe, who we've been telling southbound hikers, like, when you get close to us in North Carolina, reach out. Like, we want to do trail magic when you guys make it there, because it'll be early fall when they're there, and we will be seeing them in the same part of their journey as they saw us, if that makes sense. So we saw them, 250 miles or whatever, or a little less from the end. And where we live, we can access the trail about 200 to 250 miles from the end for them. So hoping that works out. We would love to be able to bless some of those southbound hikers. They don't get as much trail magic. So hoping that comes to fruition in a few months.
I know you're squeezing hard, damn it. They're just old filters.
Our filters are needing to be back flushed again, so they're moving slower. I know. Thank you for doing the last one. We got all our bottles filled. We're gonna head up. Ooh, yep, head up that way. No, my bag's too wide.
Oh yeah, no, you almost hit the branches this time.
Heading up that way.
Step down the rock. So this one goes 2 depending on their speed.
the view from the side of Beimis Mountain, I believe. See a pretty big lake of some kind. Really pretty. 1.1 till a shelter where we're gonna fill up waters again, because I'm sure even though they're kind of full now, they will be depleted by then, right? Yours is fairly low. About halfway gone. So Serenity, how's that climbing so far?
We did our biggest one, so there's that.
This last little bit though.
Technical.
Yeah.
Pretty technical.
Lots of roots and rocks, slick things. But
The north seems to like that.
well, let's see if we can get down to the shelter and take a little break. Haven't caught a snake on camera in a while. He's just hanging out in all the rocks. Made it over Beimis Mountain's second peak. And on our way down to the road where there's a brook, we're gonna fill up our waters, eat lunch, and then push on for the remaining, I think at that point, like 10 miles maybe? Definitely doing well, on time. It's gonna be a long day, but we knew that. 22 miles in Maine is not gonna go quickly, but we're doing great so far. Another steep descent as we make our way down to the road where we're gonna have lunch. Pace has slowed a lot because it's been so steep and slick, but looking forward to eating.
We're making our way down to Maine Route 17 and Beimis Mountain Road, where we expect to take a break, get some water and lunch. Those happy faces anticipating lunch.
Very excited to get water and eat. We just finished lunch. Straps and Bog Leg caught up to us and hung out for a little bit. Filtered some water and then they headed on. It's 2 o'clock. We've got 9.1 miles to our target campsite. We are hopeful after this climb up from the water that the terrain is a little nicer so we can make some good time and get there before dark. So we shall see. Thank you, Mr. Dale. Thank you so much for covering those rooms. Are we excited for town, guys? Yeah. It's been 6 or 7 days and we are so ready to be in beds and shower. We smell atrocious, so thank you. We've still got like 8.5 miles of our day. We are pushing because we want a Nero, right guys? So thank you so much for making the Saddleback Inn possible. We were so appreciative of you. About to cross over Route 17. Beautiful view of those lakes over there. Oh, and Toon spotted some pretty flowers. We're trying to stay in this breeze as long as possible. Trying to dry ourselves off from all the sweat. But back in the woods, we're about to go. Yet another Maine bog where we have to troubleshoot how to get across because there's not much in the way of support other than rolling logs, it looks like.
The mud's not much support either.
Nope. Can you get to the rock? There you go. Ugh. It's so yucky. I don't know if you can hear Energizer laughing up there. I'm not sure what Sunshine did, but she cracked him up. They were singing a song from the animated Charlotte's Web that Templeton sings, It's like the fair is a veritable smorgasbord, orgasbord, orgasbord. Something cracked him up.
Don't step on the
So again, okay. Hard to tell how steep this is. There's just no way. Is it steep?
Yes.
Super duper steep, where we're having to bend like halfway over to get our poles down to the next level.
Like the equivalent of 3 steps.
Yeah. Made it to a brook where we are filling up water bottles. Got the kids helping out. It was Energizer's idea that Remy and I sit down and rest and the kids would fill water. We've got, for the first time in a while, a water carry. So we only got about 5 miles to camp, but all the water after this source in the comments and far out smells like sulfur, doesn't taste good, comes from like a stagnant water source. And so we're filling up all of our bottles here after having drank everything that we had. Filling it up and then filling up our Canuck bladders and carrying those with us to camp. 5 mile water carries, not fun. But we're gonna do that so that we have access to good tasting, not sulfur smelling water when we get to camp. So once we finish up here, we'll head on. It's about 4:15. And like I said, about 5 miles to go. So hopefully we're at camp by like 7:30. We'll just have to see how the terrain treats us.
Oh, you're not getting your
We have an afternoon rain shower. That's all right. So we're getting out our handy dandy umbrellas or raincoats or whatever for our climb. We've got, what did I just say? 1.9 to climb. And then, yeah, with brakes.
The mosquito noise.
Yeah, the mosquitoes are right in our ears. Less than 5 to camp. I haven't filmed much for the past 45 minutes or so. This has been the trail. This isn't as bad as it was a little earlier, but you can see there's just no care to put anything for us to walk on. There's just boards thrown. At least here, they're touching the bottom. We went through some bogs not long ago where I stepped on a bog board and it went to the bottom all right, but the bottom was like a foot below the muck. Oh, it's frustrating. You can see my shoe. Actually, both shoes are pretty gross. Fell earlier on a wet route. It's been a pretty tough end to the day, I gotta be honest. Birds are singing now and the sun's out, but the standing water on that whole like 45-minute section was unreal, and the muck was so deep. There were some times where we put our poles in trying to stabilize ourselves on bog boards that weren't secured to anything, and our poles wouldn't even touch the bottom. Like the entire pole would be in the muck. Whew. A little nervous, honestly. I'm gonna flip this around. A little nervous, honestly. Sorry, it's all foggy because it got wet. About our campsite, that the tent sites might just be underwater, and I'm not really sure how to troubleshoot that. I'm by myself right now out front. I just needed a minute, but we'll see. So the mantra is we're in town tomorrow. We're in town tomorrow. So I know it'll be the first time I think in a week that we've been inside, or maybe 6 days. Sorry for the camera angles. My arm's tired. But we'll be dry tomorrow. Once we get to town, we'll do our laundry. We'll be dry. We'll be in beds. Just have to make it to tomorrow.
So here is our lovely tent site. I'm gonna go around and show you everybody. This is Abigail's and Madeline's tent. And there's Abigail. And let's go over here. Oops, sorry, I'm in the woods. And that is, I think, Bog Leg's tent. And that is Straps. And you can kind of see over his tent the red bags. So we got to camp, and there was a huge group of, I guess, a camp just set up their tents and hung around. So we had to smush our tents pretty close. And so there's mine and Energizer's. You can see I'm trying to stake the vestibule. Trying really hard, but the tents are really close. And there is our mom and dad's tent. And yep, there's our water that we carried out from a water source. So it's time to go to bed. So we made it to camp after a 21.7 mile day, which is our biggest day since Vermont. And it was really tough because today we gained 6,000 feet of elevation up and 5,000 feet of descent, which was really hard on our legs. And there was a lot of rocks and roots in the trail that were really slick because of the rain.
And bogs, right?
And yeah, at the end, there were ticking time bombs. If you stand on them long enough, you sink into the mud. It's really deep and you get your feet wet and it's not fun. And so we were having to navigate those. And then it was rainy, which was hard because I did not put a raincoat on, which was not smart, and so my clothes are wet. But luckily I have a dry outfit that I can wear tomorrow. And tomorrow we are going into town, which is really exciting because we're going to get to do showers and laundry and a resupply. And then we're going to run by the outfitter and get new ground sheets because our ground sheets have started leaking, or not leaking, but they've gotten really thin, and so the water comes through and soaks our tent. So it's time for us to go to bed. So good night.